Alrighty, so we're here. I wanted to do something a little bit different, as usual, and I'm tapping back into my comic book roots. I wanted to give a first impression on what I thought of the trailer of Your Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man, the first official trailer that came out for Disney Plus, Marvel Animation, you know, the team that produced such projects as What If and X-Men 97. And I wanted to sort of like delve deep and give my opinion on certain aspects. First and foremost, I'm a huge diehard like Spider-Man fan. Spider-Man is like the forefront of Marvel, all right? He is a very important character to me. I first grew up with the Raimi movies. I've been there since the Spider-Man cartoon. I played the Spider-Man game on PS1. I played the Spider-Man games on PS2. I've played the rest of them. Insomniac Spider-Man, played those. Spider-Man is an integral character, even in the MCU. Like, I enjoy Tom Holland's take on Spider-Man. I am a huge fucking Peter Parker Spider-Man freak, all right? And I talked about it several times on my channel when the coverage of Insomniac Spider-Man was reigning in. Reading the comics, we got One More Day, which was a piece of garbage, but still, like, you know, just besides that, the good Spider-Man comics, I've been there. And this teaser is kind of mediocre in my opinion. I want to start out with the animation. I'm just gonna like play it muted and give my overall take, but I don't know why it seems like some of the background colors of the city looks so flat. Like, it doesn't really stand out. They tried to go with that whole like old school 616 early comic Spider-Man look for Peter Parker, and I mean, his look is cool. Even the Spider-Man suit I have no problems with. Like, well, actually it looks like a kind of a, he gets more suits as the show goes on. I know that. I know he gets more costumes, but the one they showed here, it looks like he's wearing like some hockey gear. All right, are you gonna go to like Canada and like swing with the hockey pucks? I don't know, but it's still, I know he gets more outfits in this. He gets Future Foundation, which is my favorite outfit of all time for Spider-Man. I just like fucking white and black, okay? Don't judge me. I like white and black. The comic panel stuff, I just hope it doesn't get like overt, because I don't know. I do like it for animation. I do like when they do comic panels. It feels like a living, breathing comic book, which is fine. But I remember when they did it way too much in the first Hulk movie, and I just didn't like it. But maybe it's just that was live action, so that's kind of like circulating in my brain a little bit, circulating in my head. But overall, the suit is not the best suit from what I see, but he gets more suits along the way. This is clearly like the homemade suit, so it's gonna look kind of shitty. In my opinion, it's gonna look kind of shitty. They always look kind of shitty, even though I do like his like homecoming like built suit. I thought that looked fine for what it was, especially when he had the mask off and he was fighting Vulture. But I digress. The animation just looks kind of stilted in my opinion, and it doesn't really look the best. But the fight scenes, I mean, when he's fighting that bully in the alleyway and he's beating his ass and he like web slinged the brick back to his head and everyone reacted in the comic panel, I thought that part was cool. I thought that part was at least cool. So I'm gonna be nuanced and give credit where credit is due. I also like that the Spidey eyes still like squint, which is something they reeled from the movie, so I mean MCU, so and they started doing that ever since, so I pretty much enjoyed that. But still, you do get the whole sense of Peter Parker is the awkward teen in this, and that's what they're gonna kind of cater to, that kind of new sociable Spider-Man in a sense, where he's now dealing with all this stuff in modern day. Also, what the fuck, I saw Screwball's name actually on the Instagram like feed when Spider-Man is talking, saying, oh, by the way, that was me, I'm Spider-Man, I saw Screwball. So hopefully he throws her off a cliff. All right. Fuck Screwball, I can't stand her, I can't stand her. Delete your account, Stevie. Okay. But there's some aspects about it that I liked. One of my worries though is that and here's something I don't like. I don't like the whole cringe humor. So, you know, I like well-written, well-crafted stories and dialogue and character pieces and character study. I think that Spider-Man is at his best when they do explore those deep origins of, with great power comes great responsibility, the death of Uncle Ben and how it affects Peter Parker and Aunt May and everyone around him, seeing the duality of Peter Parker and then the alter ego Spider-Man dealing with the weight of having to go out there every day, fight crime, and see this crime and this time bleed into his personal life. It's a fantastic premise and a fantastic story when done right. But you got Peter Parker going into class and saying, oh, deuces, like he's trying to be hip, and it feels like trying way too hard, which is one of the things I did not like about this trailer. It feels like it's trying to conform to those Gen Z styles of humor, which doesn't appeal to me in the slightest. I come from a whole different era of the 90s and 90s Spider-Man, so that didn't really hit right in my opinion. I know there's a lot of folks arguing about the big topic, which is the race swap of Norman Osborn and Harry Osborn. Well, here's my opinion. Okay, so the guy who plays him, Coleman Domingo, he's a fantastic actor. He plays Norman Osborn. He's a fantastic actor. As for Harry, I don't know who plays him or whatever, but I know the memes are funny. I'm kind of a nigga myself. All right, I thought that was some funny shit, right? When people were saying that on social media and everywhere else, I'm kind of a nigga myself. Norman Osborn. I do not mind race swapping when the character is still pertinent to the characterization. For example, I mean, for years we dealt with the fact that the Ultimates version of Nick Fury is the one that is prominent over the white Nick Fury. It's just, it is what it is. Like, the white version is not as cool as the black one, which is embodied by Samuel L. Jackson. Let's not lie, the motherfucker, he has motherfucker on his wallet, all right? Therefore, I didn't mind it in that big circumstance when people talk about that. It's fine. It was pertinent to keeping his same militaristic and smart cunning and characterization, even if Sam Jackson later played him. So I thought that was fine. As long as they still keep core to the character of Norman Osborn and Harry Osborn, then I won't see too much of an issue, right? That being said, there are characters that got race swapped, gender swapped in the MCU, and some people barely even notice. Ghost barely even noticed, the Ancient One barely even noticed, with these lesser characters. But now we have bigger characters being race swapped, so I guess I'll be nuanced there and say Harry and Norman Osborn are a lot more mainstream than the Ancient One and Ghost in Marvel. Therefore, a lot more people are going to notice and have opinions on this. And I'm just like, look, if you change the character's race, but you get them completely wrong, they're not the same Harry Osborn or Norman Osborn in terms of characterization. It's not like you're getting the same stories. Like, this guy is so desperate to go out there and try to be like this entrepreneur in a sense with Norman Osborn, and he gets this virus or whatever, this serum inside of his body with the Goblin serum, and he turns into a complete psychopath. and you see it budging in with his personality more and more and more. And Harry tries to impress his father, right? And he sees that his father sees something in Peter Parker, and he wants that. He gets envious of that. He gets jealous of that. And that is the crux of Harry Osborn. Sometimes he just wants his due diligence. He wants his recognition. If they don't really convey that well in the show, then it is a disservice to their characters, despite what color they are, right? Again, we had a skinny Eddie Brock in the Ultimates version of Spider-Man. You know, he's not all buff as you saw him originally when he's all like fucking powerlifting and shit. They changed the character around significantly in the Ultimates version, and now he's more of a scientist, or his dad was more of a scientist. So changes will happen often in comic media. It just depends on how well it's done for me to accept it. Now, I'll give this show the benefit of the doubt. It's not January 29th. I'm gonna definitely review this when I see all the episodes, but still, they could do something pertinent with all the people involved. I'm looking at more of these further animations, and we got slow-mo, we got Oscorp. It is cool to see Norman Osborn with fucking Captain America, so those references of the Avengers being around is kind of awesome. Maybe that will factor into some storytelling. Maybe you'll see some crossovers with other Marvel characters, but I love Coleman's voice so fucking much, dude. As for everything else with this teaser, again, those are my main like concerns and the main things that I can talk about now. I do definitely want to see more of the darkness, more of the struggle with Spider-Man. It seems like with this is appealing more to, you know, simplistic children demographic, and there's nothing wrong with that in particular. Spider-Man doesn't always have to be like grim dark to make a point or be good, but some of the best stuff about Spider-Man shows is incorporating that in some way or fashion. So I'm hoping we see elements of that, at least to the level of maybe Spectacular, because I mean, a lot of people enjoyed that show, even though it had those elements. And it looks like this is a little bit more of the comedic, Peter's being wonky, Peter's being like all clumsy side, and I hope that's not really all the show focuses on in terms of themes. That's my only gripe with this and the animation, because it doesn't look as good as it could be. I would say the show doesn't even look better than X-Men 97 itself, which was well animated, well storyboarded in that whole aspect. So fight scenes I'm looking forward to, other factors I'm looking forward to, other interactions of characters. There are a lot of characters they're going to be talking about. I'm very glad though that this is not in the MCU. Originally this was going to be like in the MCU, and they said no, it's too far gone, we're doing way too much, it's impossible. That's one thing that I'm glad. So I hope that gives them the creative freedom to not only exercise creativity but surprise us down the line. One of the doubts I see people also saying about this, and this is going to be my last point, one of the doubts I see about this trailer is it's going to be the same rehashed Spider-Man story over and over. I mean, you guys have to really think critically. A lot of Spider-Man stories, his origin, everything about the character, they do rehash it and they try to put him in new scenarios, but sometimes it is some of the reoccurring villains, characters. I mean, the games is like that as well. You've seen Harry Osborn, you've seen Norman Osborn. Norman Osborn is going to be a lot more of a prominent role in later Spider-Man games set up by Insomniac. But it all depends on the way that they do it. I mean, James Gunn is skipping the origin story. I assume they're gonna skip Uncle Ben being shot, but it will be referenced like one way or the other. And we have to wait and see before saying anything else on that aspect. Personally speaking, I'm all for surprises. Surprise me, make it good, and that will be, you know, prevalent in history, especially if there are so many doubts on the show to begin with. The other thing is that yes, more fights. I keep saying it. I keep saying it as a broken record, but Spider-Man's cool when he fights interesting, diverse, and unique villains, and I want to see more of their backstories explored. Not just Norman, but one of the cool things that a show called Spider-Man the Animated Series did is they definitely focused on the villain side a little bit, adding in backstory, adding in who these people are, why they're doing what they do, why they are committing a lot of crimes maybe, and having those villains set up so later episodes really will feel like a climactic clash when Spider-Man fights the villains. And that's what I'm hoping for, is that these ideals cross. Maybe I'm asking too much for a Gen Z kid show, but maybe these ideals will cross and they will make the episodes a lot more interesting. So that's what I think about the Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man official trailer. Kind of falling in, maybe this might be mediocre, but I will remain open-minded and optimistic, and hopefully they will surprise me in the end. There are some positives. The fights I seen were good. The fact that someone is talking to Peter saying, you know, I want you to truly protect people, the people you care about. That scene is kind of great in this trailer, but I want to see it more elaborated as the show progresses, and maybe I'm wrong, maybe I'm right, but I'll give it a fair shake nonetheless. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed my opinion on this official teaser, so to speak, you know what I mean. I want to see more of that camaraderie with Harry and Peter, and that was really fucking good in the game, and some of the movie too. That's really fucking good. Oh, and that scene with the Peter and everything on fire, that was kind of cool, but I mean, again, oh, the comic panels as well, just having the text, you know, that part I do like, but hopefully it's not too obnoxious. Anyway, I better stop the video before I keep going on analyzing the whole trailer and everything while I'm discussing with you guys. Tell me what you thought of it in the comment section below. I'm gonna have it on repeat in this particular discussion and video so you can see it. It's gonna be muted. I'll leave the link in the description, and hopefully you guys take care of yourselves, and I cannot wait until Daredevil comes out as well in March. That's gonna be fucking spectacular. I'm gonna make a video on that right now. I'll see you guys next time. Later.